YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A-N-LA, and as always, fam, YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A-N-LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, or future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, fam, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, let's get this episode rolling. Okay, today, fam, we are here to talk about this bad boy right here. This is the Type A EG11 2011. If you guys are unfamiliar with Type A, they have historically been some really good rifle manufacturers. This is their first foray into the 2011 space, and I think there are some epic wins and positives here, but there are also some negatives. We don't shy away from either. And this gun has really been an experience unlike any other that I've had on any of my other 2011s. So let me just kind of do, before we jump in to the review, let me just give you guys some background. So ordered this gun a while back. Took a while for it to come in, but this was actually the first gun that I purchased in 2024. I picked this up. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I picked this up in early January. So you might be wondering why it took me so long to do an unboxing and so long to do this review. Well, what struck me about the gun, one of the reasons why I wanted the gun, is because I had the opportunity to shoot a prototype before the gun came out, and the prototype shot really well. I think the only other people that have done a review on this on YouTube is 1911 Syndicate, and they raved about the gun. But I think one of the things, and I think those guys know 2011s, so that gave me a certain level of comfort. And when I ran the test gun, it shot really well. I was also comfortable there. I will say that the gun that I ran was a test gun and already was broken in, had a lot of rounds through it, as was the gun that 1911 Syndicate shot. So this one, though, was brand spanking new off the assembly line. And so when I got the gun, you know, and I started handling it, manipulating it, checking things out, the first thing I noticed was that the slide was pretty gritty. And even now, you know, after I've got maybe about 750 or so rounds through it, it's still a little gritty. Much better than it was, but it still sticks a little bit. You can see that. And so, you know, this is not uncommon for some of the, particularly the lower tier and mid tier, well, yeah, kind of the mid tier firearms, because they're creating tight tolerances and they want the gun to break in over time. So it's not uncommon to have the gun feel a bit gritty for the first 1,500 rounds or so. So I was willing to certainly grant some grace relative to that. And so what I set out to do was really start putting some rounds through the gun. And I'll put up some footage there. But what I started to see after around the first mag, which ran pretty clean, I started having issues with the gun not going into battery. First I thought maybe it didn't like the ammo I was using. I tried other ammo. It still wouldn't cycle, and it got to a point where it was failing to cycle like every single time, and the trigger was not resetting. And so I called my guys at Covert, told them the issues I was having. They said, hey, no problem, bring it in. They tried it out. They were having the same issues. So they sent it back to Type A, and Type A took it in, looked at it, saw that there was an issue with the trigger bow, that it was bent or something, and that was what was preventing the gun from cycling properly. And based on that, they fixed it, sent it back. Now that turnaround time took about 4 weeks. Is that terrible customer service? No. Is that great customer service in my opinion? No. Great customer service is you got a brand new $4,500 gun, you know, let's figure out what the problem is, fix it, and turn it around in a week. To me, that's great customer service. A month is not awful. It's not great. It just kind of is what it is. And then I got it back, and a couple of things I noticed. The first thing I noticed when I got it back is that the trigger, once repaired, was way better than it was before. And we're going to get the trigger a little bit more, but I can just let you guys see there's no take up here. What really changed was the reset. Look at this reset, y'all. I mean, the reset's non-existent now. So we'll talk about the trigger once we get more into the review. But I noticed that, and then I took it out to the range and shot it again. And I'll put up some more footage there. And after that, I really didn't have any issues at all with the firearm. But the initial experience is part of it, right? I also talked to some other people in the 2011 space who had them. One other guy had to send his in. Other people talked about the grittiness and that kind of thing. So, look, I'm not bashing the gun. I'm going to give it an honest review, but I'm not going to lie. Having to send it back and have them fix it did leave kind of a bad taste in my mouth. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of the review. Okay, fam, so if you've never seen my reviews, basically there are 10 categories. Each category is either worth 15, 10, or 5 points, totaling 100 points. I don't grade on the curve, you know what I'm saying? I don't give grades. I'm a very tough grader. So just so you understand, a middle of the road gun, think of Gen 5 Glock 17 out of the box. That's a 50 gun, right down the middle of the road, perfectly fine, perfectly reliable, gonna go bang every time you press the trigger. Right, so if you got something from 50 to 60, you've got a solid good gun, right? If you got something that's between 60 and 70, okay, there's something special, some attributes to this gun that make it kind of one step above the mean. You know, what that could be would vary from gun to gun, but you've got something that, like I said, is one deviation above the mean, something that has some attributes that your average gun does not have. If you've got something that's kind of 70 to 80, okay, now you got a pretty good firearm. You have a firearm that is beyond just reliable, beyond just you know, a quality tool. You've got something that is special. And if you've got something with 80, between 80 to 90, okay, now, now you're cooking with gas. You have an elite level firearm. The construction of that, the materials used, the fit and finish, all of that is several deviations above the norm. And you've got a keeper. And obviously anything that's 90 or above is through the moon. That's a grail gun status. That's something that should be passed down generation to generation to generation. All right, so let's jump into the review of the Type A EG11. Okay, fam, first up, fit and finish. I'm going to tell you, fam, that they knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, relative to fit and finish. They have pretty much everything you would want on a 2011. Super tight tolerances, no wiggle anywhere. You can tell the coating is just really, really well done. The grip feels phenomenal in the hand. The gun kind of screams on the surface quality, right? So I'm gonna give this gun a solid 13 out of 15 for fit and finish. All right, fam, next up, trigger. So I kind of talked to you about it a little bit. This trigger is incredible. I'll put up the pull weight right there so you guys can see it, but there is no take up. And for all intents and purposes, there is virtually no reset. I mean, the trigger is amazing. Now, here's what I will say though. This is the trigger post-repair, right? This is the trigger post-repair. If this was the trigger when I got it, it would probably be a 14 out of 15, but I'm gonna ding it a little bit because they had to take it in and fix it. So we're gonna give the trigger a 13 out of 15. All right, next up, accuracy. Look, fam, 2011s are known for their accuracy, known for being used for high-level competition. The materials used and everything here, you would expect it to be incredibly accurate. Through the 750 rounds I've put through it so far, I found it incredibly accurate. So for accuracy, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, reliability. So look, fam, the 750 rounds I put through it, it was incredibly reliable. I didn't have any issues. I did try to run some like jacketed hollow points, some like wide nose jacketed hollow point. It didn't like that, but I ran all kinds of other ammo through it, different grains, different manufacturers. It ate it all up. I'm going to ding it though, again, because this is post repair. So maybe I would have gave it like a 13 out of 15 for reliability, but the fact that I had to send it back to the manufacturer to have them fix it, we're going to give it a 12 out of 15 for reliability. All right, next up, fam, ergonomics. How does a gun feel in the hand? Look, fam, if it doesn't feel good in the hand, you're not going to want to shoot it. If you don't shoot it, you're not going to be good with it. You're not going to be proficient with it. They knocked it out of the park with this grip. Let me just let you peep out that grip. So it's kind of smoother here on the side panels and more aggressive on the back strap and the front of the grip. And, you know, part of that is if, you know, you're going to conceal carry this appendix, you don't want the highly abrasive sides to be there. I get that, although it's a pretty heavy gun. And while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and put the specs up there for you. I wouldn't imagine anybody would be concealed carrying this, but I think the ergonomics are really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10 for ergonomics. Next up, durability. Look, fam, this gun is built like a tank. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's a heavy mama. It is really, really, I think, built to be highly durable. Especially all like the grip, the frame, the slide. You can tell it's just quality. This coating is very, very well done. You can tell it's gonna hold up. So I'm gonna give it high marks for durability. We're gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for durability. All right, fam, these next two categories, I'm gonna kind of lump them together. One is aftermarket support, the other is maintenance and upkeep. You know, 2011s are the new hotness. This market is heating up. There are so many manufacturers in the space, and consequently, to kind of add to that, you have a lot of quality shops that are starting to specialize in 2011. You've got DSC Gunworks, Skips Guns, Vulcan Machine Works, Monsoon Tactical, even Iron Monkey doing their thing. And so there's no shortage of parts for 2011. Obviously, EGW makes some of the best internal parts out there. Atlas as well makes great parts, so no shortage there. In terms of maintenance and upkeep, look, it's a 2011. This is not a Glock. You can't go out and shoot 30,000 rounds through it before you clean it. You have to keep these guns clean. They're like race guns, so you need to break the gun down and give it a good cleaning kind of every 1,000 rounds or so, and you should be fine. So relative to both of those categories, we're going to give them a 4 out of 5 for aftermarket support and a 4 out of 5 for maintenance and upkeep. All right, fam, next up, affordability. So look, fam, this is where a lot of guns go off the rails that I review because they're typically speaking very expensive. Now, part of what I had to consider when I'm thinking about affordability, number one is price, certainly, but also kind of the value. What are you getting for the money? And so, look, I think this gun is a really good gun. We'll see where the total score comes in. But we already talked about the construction. I told you the issues that I had. The gun is not ported or compensated, and it has a pretty hefty price tag on it. So based on what you get a lot, but there's some things lacking as well. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 for affordability. Next up, flex. All right, look. Is Instagram going to go crazy? Are your boys going to be on your jock about it? Yeah. It's pretty flossy. Is it like an Atlas floss? No. Is it a TTI flossy? No. Is it an Infinity floss? No. But still, floss is definitely in effect. So we're going to give it a healthy 3 out of 5 for flex. All right, fam, look. When you add all of that up, you get an 83 out of a possible 100. Now, I told you guys, if you got something that's 80 to 90, you have an elite firearm. And I believe this is an elite firearm. Like I said, the quality of the construction is all there. Metal grip, just the coating is well done. The trigger is great. Look. It's got all the bells and whistles you would want, but how does it compare with other guns in its class? I'm going to do some head-to-heads so we can get into the weeds on that a little bit. But if I'm thinking about other guns that are in this 3,500 to 5,500 range, what are its competitors? You got the Legion Precision Chirac, which I think is probably the closest comp to this. And the Chirac has everything this gun has, and it's ported, and it's coming in at $1,000 less. You've got the Watchtower Apache PewView. The Watchtower Apache doesn't have, the coating on the Apache isn't as good. The grip on the Apache certainly is nowhere near as good. But I could get the Apache recoated and put a real quality grip on there, probably for about $700, and I'm still a couple $100 than I am here, and I got a compensated gun, which in my opinion is more aesthetically pleasing and runs like a Dickens. So you got that. You've got the Staccato XC for right around the same price tag. You've got the Phoenix Trinity H-Tac for right around the same price tag. Those guns are integrally compensated, softer shooting guns, better feeling guns. Now, those guns don't come with metal grips or aluminum grips, but, still, in my opinion, better shooters, more dialed in than the EG11 is. So, look, I do think it's a fine 2011. I would definitely support someone going out and buying it. But I do think that they are in a very, very competitive marketplace with a lot of fine firearms in that space and more coming out every day. So would I recommend it over those guns? Probably not, but it's definitely a good 2011. All right, that's it for this episode, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.